Fifita brushes the Titans. He'll head to Sydney. According to Danny Wildler and Adrian Prezenko through the Sydney Morning Herald, he has informed the Titans that he will leave the club at the end of the season. He spent Wednesday night with his manager, Michael Hudson, considering his future and decided not to trigger an option in his Titans deal that would have seen him earn $1 million a season for the next 2 years. He has signed, reportedly, a 4-year deal worth $3.3 million. So Uncle Nick trumps the 3-time premiers. And there you go. That was breaking news thanks to Michael Chammas. Plenty to talk about. Morning Glory host Matty Johns is standing by. You catch him at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Brilliant show. And I'm pleased to say the great man is there. G'day, Matty.
Hey, Joel. Hey, Michelle. How you doing?
Good afternoon. In shock. Dead set thought he was going off to the Penrith Panthers. How are they feeling right now?
Yeah. You know, Michelle, we spoke about this on Tuesday with Joel and Fletch, and they asked me where did I think he would end up. I had a sneaking suspicion it would be the Roosters, simply because... look, there's every chance that he's going to arrive at Penrith, Michelle, with basically Penrith aiming for Comp 5. And, where does he stand? Where would he stand in Panthers history? Now, look, they might go on to win 6 or 7 comps, but I think when you arrive at a place and they've already won 4 competitions in a row, really, in the history of that dynasty, you're a footnote, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of upside going to Penrith, of course, the players you play alongside. But I know the Panthers don't think so. But if I was Dave, I'm looking at the Panthers thinking to myself, man, I don't know if they need help. The battle's won. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I suppose.
Hey, Matty, I was saying to Michelle before, and you could really see this happening, assuming that the Roosters have got money in the cap. So it's very viable the way things are on the ladder at the moment. They come round 17, which I think is a cut-off. Titans could be Tatiana, Western Webb could be gone. Roosters could be right into this, up to their eyeballs. Now, if they had, say, $300,000 in the cap, what would stop Dave Fifita? And if the Titans could save $300,000, I mean, why wouldn't you do it? But could we see him there this year? Could you expect him to see him having a tilt come September footy at the Roosters?
Oh, boy. They'd have to clear a bit out, Joel. It certainly... there's a possibility of it. It's something we've seen swaps before and trades, but nothing like this. I don't know. My suspicion is that I don't think the Titans would. I think they'd make him play out the full season with them, even given the 300,000, 350,000, whatever it may be. But it's just it's been interesting. Like when I tell you, the Titans just picked. Their timing has been horrible as far as having a drop in form. Like, I think if the Titans had played to what we expected of them, and they might have been, let's say, for instance, their 4 or 5 wins so far this year, I don't think he would have left. But given the nature of the start of the season, the more losses that started to rack up, the more I was starting to think, mate, they're going to lose this bloke. And I suppose compounding that now is the fact that, okay, when Tino signed on as well and decided to stay, that was in concert with David Fifita. They had a long discussion apparently and decided to stay. I wonder what Tino's thinking now. And then the flow on again on top of that. What is the one position the Titans really need stiffening up in? Well, they need a marquee halfback. They need one really bad. Now, if I was a halfback and I'm looking at the roster and I go, well, I've got a pack of forwards here led by Tino and Dave Fifita, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind going to the Gold Coast. I could win it. I could do things behind this pack of forwards. But to lose Dave, it's a hammer blow.
I've only just thought about this now, Michelle. Yeah. I could easily see the Ben Hunt noise stepping up again now. Like there's $1 million good time taker.
Do we want an experienced playmaker like that, or someone like, I know he's out injured at the moment, but this is a perfect scenario for Jonah Pezet. Like he's for next year. Like, do you stay there behind the boys at the Storm? Or, I mean, they're in a bit of trouble at the moment, the halves as well, with injury. When Origin comes around.
Look, if I was Jonah's manager, I would be staying at the Storm at least for another 18 months. Right. I don't think Jonah's not ready to run a football side yet. Not to carry a team, not that he'd carry it completely on his back. He'd have Kieran there, but to wear, to go to a club and wear the 7 on a full-time basis, I still think he's probably 18 months away.
Hey, Matty, I've been on this for a few years now, and I've been waiting for it to blow up. And if it happened with Fifita, the world would cave in, basically, in the NRL community, where you've got this scenario, right, where say, for example, I'm using the Roosters. At the start of round one, you've got $300,000 left in your cap. Now, you can either sign somebody right there and then for $300,000 to take you through the rest of the year. However, if you're in a position to hold off until towards the end of the year, you can actually get someone like a Fifita worth $1 million. Now, what they need to do is diminish that value. So if you've got $300,000 in round one, then come halfway through the year, that should come down to about 150. And the reason I say that is because you've almost incentivised, if you can back yourself to make the finals, to hold off, and you've got $1 million player on grand final day that you couldn't have signed in round one, which kind of defeats the whole bloody purpose of the salary cap in the first place, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And do you know, Joel, when this started to happen 2 years ago, players would be loaned off to another club and finish the season there. You know what? I don't have a problem with it. I think it adds. I think it adds to the interest at the end of the year. And I think if a club is willing to leave some money in the cap, to leave it there just in case at the back end of the year, well, you know, that can bite them on the backside, but it also can be a masterstroke. So, yeah, it's going to be another facet of our game going forward and how teams manage the cap and take risks.
If the Roosters, and they've got a stack of back rowers, right, who aren't getting a game, Egan Butcher, Tilly Tupanua, Siwa Wong, if they in the next month let a player go somewhere else, you can bet your bottom dollar Davey's turning up at the end of the year. You can bet your bottom dollar.
I get Matty's take on it, but I don't like it for the simple fact of the matter that you've got this fans screaming out already about the whole way the system works with a player, playing with someone and signing with the club the next year. So this is just going to add fuel to the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's certainly, you have a look at it, don't you, Michelle, and it just appears as though the salary cap isn't doing its job. Is that the gap between the very elite and some of the sides that are struggling, it's not narrowing. There's been some sides that have improved this year, but, I mean, teams like Penrith and the Broncos and so on, they just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And what we've seen with Davey and what we see with elite players is that when they're off contract, a West Tigers can offer a player, well, I mean, $1.1, $1.2 million. But then a Penrith comes along and says, hey, listen, come and play with us and Nathan Cleary and we'll give you $800. And the player goes, oh, well, I tell you what, I might just go to Penrith. I mean, the situation, it shows you what a position some clubs find themselves in, like the Tigers. Now, am I right in saying, Joel, they offered Joshy Schuster over $1 million?
I think so, yeah. I believe so.
Over $1 million. It just shows you the desperation that these clubs have in wanting to sign a player. And like I said, the Titans have really got to strengthen themselves in the creative positions. But the fight they're in is not just because they've lost Dave, it's because of the very fact that, guess what, the Broncos are going to be after a standout halfback soon, a marquee halfback with Reynolds retiring. You've got the Warriors because young Cleary is going to take a little bit of time. They're going to be on the lookout for someone. Chad Townsend at the Cowboys, and it just goes on. There are so many clubs, and so many attractive clubs that are on the lookout for a marquee half. And it doesn't matter how much money you got in the cap to spend. There is a limited amount of special players out there.
Someone's going to win the lotto. We know that much.
And someone's going to lose.
I never thought I'd say the day where I feel sorry for Desi Hasler, but, the work that he's done up there, they've been so close for so long. Was sidelined the other night watching them up against the Storm. Previous to that, it was Manly. And then to know that he's going to lose Dave now, it's he's got some homework to do.
Hey, Matty, what do we expect from these bunnies on the weekend? So Cody's game 200. He's captain. Latrell comes back. They're taking on the Dragons. This is a team where Ben Hornby once captained them to a premiership. What do you expect from this South Sydney side? Is it more of the same of what we're seeing, or is there a response here somewhere?
I expect them to win, Joel.
Wow.
I've got a feeling. I fully expect the moment Latrell was suspended for that period of time. I said this for Latrell personally.
Yep.
It was a blessing. It'll allow him to go away, get his head together, put a bit of training into his body, and I think you'll see a different Latrell when he turns. But at the time I said, but the tragedy of it is the fact that Jason Demetrio also almost certainly won't be there. He won't get to reap the benefits of Latrell's time away. I think Latrell, I think he'll return. I think he'll be 8.5, 9 out of 10. I expect one of his really big performances, and if he can do that, I think the Bunnies will win. I don't know a lot about the young guy they've put in at halfback. I haven't seen a lot of him play. I was surprised once again that they didn't go with a spine of Latrell, Cody, Jack White and Cook. I think one of the problems they got at South Sydney is they're playing too sideways. They lack upfield thrust, and I think that spine would have done it. But we'll just see what team runs out.
Yeah, this Dion Teaupa, a bit of a touch footy sort of type, came through.
You were giving it rap. You were
Yeah. He's a very, very good young player. My concern, Matty, would be that Latrell loves the left-hand side. You've got Jack there who's a dominant voice, and you've got Cody there who loves that side. You'd almost be, I mean, I don't know if you would be or not, but if you put Dion Teaupa on the right-hand side, and in the trials he was also playing left, you could easily see no ball because of the dominance on that left-hand side. So if you're the Dragons and Tyrell Sloan, you're just marshalling the troops right all day, aren't you? Yeah,
well, this has been one of the problems with South this year, Joel. The guy who was been a huge loss was Campbell Graham. He was a huge loss for Lockie Ilias because Lockie Ilias and Campbell had a beautiful combination out on that right-hand side. Particularly, Lachlan got a lot of confidence by playing his short sides with Campbell Graham. When Campbell was ruled out for just about expect the season, that took so much away from Lachlan Ilias's game. That took one of his key combinations. That affected his confidence, and we've seen what's happened there. So look, the young guy's going in. If he's on the right-hand side, the bottom line is, he's just got to call the football. They've got to get some balance across the field. But once again, I maintain they've got to find a way to win through the middle. The South Sydney, regardless of even when they're at their best and they're playing those beautiful little sweeping block formations out to the left off Cody, their best football is in the middle of the field.
I was watching them last week, and they just weren't putting players to the ground, Matty. Most of the tackles they were standing in the tackle. But anyway, just on...
Joel, we'll see. It's on that, Joel. It's interesting, right? And I don't know how many conversations we had last year about where Souths were headed. And where they were headed, and I've said this ad nauseum, there is a good South and a bad South. Even when they were flying and they were going good at the beginning of last year, is that one of the problems South had was that they trusted their attacks so much. They trusted their talent so much that they thought they could switch off defensively. Then all of a sudden, they switch off in a game for 5-10 minutes. Then they started switching off for 20 minutes. Then all of a sudden, bit by bit, their attitude to defence is slowly eroded to the point they find themselves where they are now. And that's just an example. Intensity and attitude, it's not like a faucet. We can turn it on and off. It's a muscle that's got to be exercised.
What's your gut feel now with Angus Crichton? They find a way to keep him. Does he go to Penrith? Does he go to the Gold Coast? Does he go to rugby? What do you think for him?
I think he'll stay. I reckon they'll hang on to him. They've really stuck. He had a very, as we know, very, very difficult 18 months. But his performance, I've seen him play as good, but I haven't seen him play better than that performance against the Broncos. It's just a powerhouse. I reckon I think they'll make a serious play to keep him.
Okay, let's make a play on the open line. A few callers want to have their say to ask Matty question. 1300 01 1170. Hello, young man.
Hello, Joel. Hello, Matty. I just want to say it was great by the Roosters to finally get back one of their own. We're buying back the farm. Another local Rooster coming back. So well done to everyone at the Chooks.
Yeah.
Matthew, just wondering where do you think the young Dave Fifita will play? What position?
Oh, mate, given the Roosters, given the fact that they've got so many local juniors, I expect him to actually play on the wing.
Well, it's pretty much, I feel it's not, look, Luke Keary's retiring. This is a straight swap. Keary for Fifita. He could probably play 6. Similar body shape.
Yeah, why?
Thoughts?
Look, I reckon... listen, mate, I think that whatever you're taking, you should go and flush it down the toilet.
It's too late. Anyway, I just wanted to wish Dave Fifita the best coming to the East. Not many people come out bad people. after leaving the Roosters. So, except that one guy. We won't go into that. Well, have a great show.
Well, I'll see you tonight, Bryan.
Have a great show. And I'll see, what sort of food are we having?
Oh, look, please not rat chicken. I'm thinking that nice Vietnamese meal. I can't do rat again, honestly. I tell you it'll be interesting tonight. I tell you he'll be in a foul mood, Fletch. Old Gordon, GT will be in a bad mood.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, I cannot wait for this. He'll go, so he's taken less. He's taken less to go there, has he?
Mate, he would have... when the news came through, he would have crashed his sponsored Audi from the Titans.
Hey, boys.
If he's any man we know that... Oh, sorry, I've got to
No,
go.
Ryan, stay there. Ryan, I want to... Is the Queensland Spirit, that was a bloody good episode, that. Is that on tonight?
Oh, that's on tonight, yeah. It's a second and final chapter, and it's unbelievable what we find. After all these years, especially the 8 in a row, what we find that the Queensland Spirit is going to shock the world.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. And by the way, shout out, Matty, to Benny Hogarth, who is the brains behind that. He's also starring on Morning Glory at the moment. So that'll be on tonight. Matty John show, won't it, Matty? Benny Hogarth behind the scenes. That bloke's airborne.
Oh, yes, mate. He just sits there in the morning just eating beef jerky ad nauseum. It's just... Honestly, mate, he's lost about, I reckon must have lost 30 kilos. Don't know if Ryan could help us out there.
What do you want to know?
How much weight's Hogarth lost? Do you reckon 30, 35 kilos?
Yeah. It'll be in the 20s, definitely.
Oh,
he was a fat heap.
And what about him? Like when we go away right now, when we went over to the States, mate, he's become one of those blokes, right, that's gone from just sitting on the lounge eating pizza to working out, and he was filming himself in the gym and putting it on Instagram.
Not one of those.
Have a look at this Gold's Gym, and we're like, mate, that's pathetic.
Definitely. And I think he accosts.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Ryan. Good on you, Matty.